When discussing Doctor Who stories, especially those near the bottom of the list, the twin dilemma inevitably comes up. Ranked at number 200 in Doctor Who magazine's Mighty 200, it is officially the worst story of all time, at least until now. Normally, I wouldn't include a regeneration story in a review like this. After all, they usually serve as transitional tales rather than full-fledged adventures. But the twin dilemma demands attention. The problem with Colin Baker's tenure is that, outside of the few standouts, which I'll omit from both best and worst lists for now, I don't have much to choose from. And since Colin Baker was the first Doctor I saw at the age of 2, it leaves me with a hint of bias, though even nostalgia can't save this one. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Demon, and today we're sinking our fangs into one of the most infamous Doctor Who stories of all time, the Twin Dilemma. This one is widely considered the worst of the worst, and unfortunately, I have to agree. Let's explore why this regeneration story doesn't quite work and how it set a rocky tone for the Sixth Doctor's era. The Twin Dilemma picks up immediately after the Fifth Doctor's emotional and well-received regeneration in the caves of Androzani. The newly regenerated Sixth Doctor, played by Colin Baker, is struggling with his erratic behaviour and volatile mood swings. The Doctor, along with his companion Peri, encounters two twins, Romulus and Remus, who possess mathematical genius and have been kidnapped by the villainous Mestor, a giant slug-like creature who seeks to use their knowledge to control the universe. The Doctor's increasingly unstable nature puts both Peri and the mission in jeopardy, as Mestor's plan threatens to destroy entire star systems. Meanwhile, Peri struggles to understand and trust the new Doctor, who oscillates between being callous and remorseful. As the Doctor attempts to regain control of his mind, Mestor's plot is revealed to involve destabilizing the orbits of planets to create a supernova and spread his eggs across the galaxy. Ultimately, the Doctor defeats Mestor by using the twins' intelligence against him, and the Sixth Doctor begins to settle into his new persona, though his arrogance and aggression remain front and center. The biggest issue with the Twin Dilemma is the portrayal of the Sixth Doctor himself. While regeneration stories often explore the Doctor's alien nature and struggles with identity, Colin Baker's take feels abrasive and off-putting. His Doctor is intentionally designed to be unstable, difficult, and unpredictable, a stark contrast to the compassionate Fifth Doctor. While this could have been an interesting concept, the execution alienated audiences. Rather than coming across as eccentric and quirky like earlier incarnations, Colin Baker's Doctor is confrontational and arrogant. His mood swings, from nearly strangling Peri to later apologizing, are jarring. The show wanted to highlight his alien nature, but instead it damaged his likability, which the audience never really recovered from. When I rewatched these episodes in the 90s, even I could see what Colin Baker was attempting with the character, a more unpredictable and layered Doctor. But the public's negative reaction was understandable. The villain, Mestor, is another major problem. A giant slug isn't exactly the most threatening or intimidating antagonist. He lacks depth, and his motivations are as slimy as his appearance. The result is a forgettable villain who only exacerbates the story's already uneven tone. The effects, which might have been ambitious for the time, fall flat, with Mestor's costume looking cheap and failing to convey any real sense of danger. The plot involving the mathematical genius twins is another sore point. Romulus and Remus are about as engaging as wet cardboard. Their performances are wooden, and despite being the crux of the story, they never feel important or believable. The idea of using their intellect to manipulate the universe could have been interesting, but it's executed in a way that feels bland and uninspired. Even the set design lacks the usual Doctor Who charm. Instead of feeling imaginative, much of the Twin Dilemma looks cheap and uninspired, with poorly integrated alien worlds and spaceships. The sterile environments only serve to highlight how uninspired the whole adventure feels. One of the most disappointing aspects of the Twin Dilemma is that it was Colin Baker's debut story. Debuts are supposed to hook the audience, to offer them a glimpse of what the new Doctor will bring to the table, but this story did the exact opposite. The Sixth Doctor comes across as more of a bully than a hero, and the clunky plot doesn't do him any favors. While later stories would delve into his character more effectively, the twin dilemma left a bad taste in viewers' mouths and set a rocky tone for his era. However, I can see where Colin Baker was trying to take the character. His Doctor was intended to evolve into a more complex, morally ambiguous figure, offering a more alien and unpredictable Time Lord. In concept, that this could have been intriguing, but unfortunately, the execution was lacking, and it's clear that audiences just weren't ready for such a sharp shift from the warmth of the Fifth Doctor. In the end, The Twin Dilemma is a story that fails on multiple fronts, from the unlikable portrayal of the Doctor to the forgettable villain and lackluster plot. While Colin Baker would go on to prove himself in better stories, his rocky start was hard to recover from. As much as I want to defend this era due to nostalgia and the fact that Colin was the first Doctor I saw, I have to admit that The Twin Dilemma deserves its place at the bottom of the list. I'm Snake Demon, and this has been The Snake Pit. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where I won't read them.